Let's get it. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. 1, 2, 3. Magnum opus. Coach's jacket holds racks with chose. I came back ferocious. I never left. I just faded to black and came back in focus. Now back to back, I made 3 stacks, met 3 stacks, assigned backs of posters. Ain't that the dopest? Bring out the choir, sing like Ambrosius, stay back the bogus. Fake promoters, make cash the motive, make that the motto. I took it in stride, I made ways to ride, I made paths to follow. Now the game came, a time the night came alive, when we came inside the beat, raised the vibe, the dark came to light, now I lead you to the light. Y'all can still fellowship, by the way, y'all can still like, shake hands, do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can make some noise too. Can y'all make some noise for everyone? Hey, there we go. A little louder. Hey, 1, 2, I know you wanna shine. Hey, hey, I said I know you wanna shine. Hey, 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 I said I know you wanna shine. Hey, 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 I said I know you wanna shine. Yeah, yeah, and there goes Konnichiwa, baby. I know when I leave at night, you can't sleep or dream. You all sleep deprived, baby. I've been chasing these dreams and got me picking up steam and got me setting the streets on fire lately. You want a man with some rivals over the surprises, had to driving man crazy. Driving down the 105 and doing 105 and feel something like me. Go long like a fleet figure. So long, I'm on these clippers. No time for relief pictures. I don't need pictures. Ben had the glow, EP finger. Ben had the flow on the string, got the band and the team. I'm the ringleader. Hey, hey, so before the night soon come, I would like to, hey, lead you to the light. Hey, can y'all clap one time for me? Can y'all clap one time? I need y'all to be a part of the band for me one time, okay? Hey, hey. And when the beat drops, I just want y'all to say, hey, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2. I know you. Hey, hey, hey. Let me hear y'all. Let me hear y'all. A little louder, 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 a little louder. Hey, y'all make some noise for yourself, Creative Mornings. Like I said, my name is James Lindsey. This is Ant Company Band. Shout out to my brother, Ben Terry. Ben Terry got a new nickname, Ben Teriyaki. I know you want to shine. Hey, I know you want to shine. Yeah, I said I know you want to shine. Yeah, I said I know you want to shine. Y'all make some noise one time, Creative Mornings. My name is James Lindsey. How y'all doing? Can y'all make some noise for yourself? Great, great, great. So I'm just gonna jump right in because I got a lot of stuff to say. This is titled Dream Game. I call it Dream Game because I feel like dreams are the most important thing that we have. I feel like if you take a child's dream away, you take their life away. And that's kind of the reason why I kind of went with this idea of Dream Game. Y'all can go ahead and laugh. Laugh all y'all want. This is me, James A. Lindsey, Jr. That's my dad. That's me looking at him crazy. Probably because he didn't give me like the proper Christmas gift or something that I wanted. And also disregard that pink windbreaker that I'm wearing with the local cardinal. Don't know why my mom had me in that. But yeah, I grew up in Norfolk. It's just this apartment complex, apartment area. It was just like a low income area. And systematically, I seen a lot of dreams deflated and a lot of dreams go deferred. I kind of felt it was very necessary to talk about dreams today because of that. But growing up, where's my sister at? Can y'all make some noise for my sister? Will you put your hand up one time? Stand up, Keita, stand up. Shout out to my sister. So when my dad and mom got divorced, my sister and my mom helped really keep me out of trouble. And actually, can I make some noise for the women, just in general?
Without you all, I'd be like nothing. And they kept me out of trouble, and they kept me from being a statistic, and I really got to thank them for that. Early on, my sister, she knew that I liked rap music. She seen me like banging on tables and rapping into a Talk Boy. Shout out to Macaulay Culkin, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I was, she seen me at an early age. This is like what I was always doing. And our household, we listened to a lot of Isley Brothers, a lot of Tevin Campbell, Luther Vandross, Gerald Levert, you name it. That was just like the type of stuff that was going on. My mom, she also sung in the choir. So I was always around music my entire life, but I never really took music seriously. I never really thought anything much about it. I just thought it was really a game. It was really a game to me at that time. I didn't really take it seriously until my mother passed away. And basically what happened was, I was about 21, and I found out that I got like an acceptance letter from U of L for grad school, and I was gonna go get my MBA. And I was super excited. I call my mom, and I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to get a hold of my mom. She's not answering. And my sister calls me, and she tells me that my mom had a seizure. And so we get down to the hospital, and I found out that she had lung cancer, and a year later she passed away. And that definitely like pulled at me a lot. And I have to say that she was definitely like the driving force as to why I'm even here today. Just because of the simple fact that I had to think about her dreams. And when she passed away, I was like, were there any dreams that weren't fulfilled? Was there anything that she just wanted to do in life that she just was not able to do? And that's kind of what drove me to do music, because I was like, you know what? I've always been driving my sister crazy. I've always been a loudmouth. I've always been talking. I was like, you know what? I just need to go ahead and do it. So long story short is I got with a friend from high school, my friend Josh, and another friend Tarek, and we started doing music together. And I met with another friend named Vane, and at the same time that I met Vane, there was kind of like this culture bubbling. And me and him met at a Jay-Z concert, and I think it was probably like a sneaker conversation or something. Like I looked down, I was like, oh, okay, you got those on. He's like, okay, I see you, I see your shoes too. It's just like, that's just kind of what we did, but it ended up becoming like this like subculture. And at the same time that I started doing music, was also the same time this whole scene was buzzing. And this scene was like really cool because there was a lot of artists and a lot of fashion, people that were into fashion, a lot of photographers. It was almost like a CreativeMornings, just on like a real street level, I guess you could say. And so we started off, it's funny just thinking about some of these old shows. We started off doing what I like to call the Louisville Chitlin Circuit. And it was really the pizza circuit is really what it was. It was Wicks, Spinelli's, and Palazzeri's. Basically anywhere with a stage or anywhere with an area that you could perform at. And I remember we was just doing shows, and there would be 10 people at the show, and 5 of them were rappers, and the other 5 were their girlfriends. So that was basically like what I was dealing with and what we were dealing with at the time. And so we just kept it pushing. We were just going up and down Bardstown Road, bing, 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 any spot that would have us. Because for a while, I don't know if y'all knew this, but for a while, there was a lot of places in Louisville that didn't want to have rap music because they just felt like it was too violent or they just didn't like the crowd. They didn't, we were just kind of outcast or whatever. So from there, and from us doing those shows, it just started to build. The momentum started to build. So it went from like 15 people at a show to like 20. And then it started to be less and less crowds full of rappers. It just started to be more fans. And people were actually buying CDs and buying merch. And I was like, oh man, this is like crazy. This is really happening. And after a while, I was able to headline my own shows and things like that. And everything just seemed to be going at the right pace. And I remember one day applying for Fort Castle, and they denied me. Well, they didn't really deny me, they just didn't respond. So, we all know how it is when like somebody doesn't respond and you're like really waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, maybe like a week goes by, you're like, you know what? Maybe they just got busy. Maybe they're just tied up. They're Fort Castle. They gotta be tied up. There's gotta be something going on. So, long story short is, I was mad, and I was walking with my boy Vane. I was like, man, whatever, man, this sucks, man. Like, you know, whatever. We walking across the waterfront. I'm like, man, I could have been there, man. I should be there, you know. And he was like, man, you just got to make your buzz undeniable. He's like, you just got to work hard. And it made me think back to my mom, and it made me think, like, she told me at an early age, growing up black in America, that I was going to have to work twice as hard. And so I knew that. So I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can work. I can do that. My mom, she juggled 3 jobs until she passed away. So I was like, all right, you know, I can definitely, you know, work hard. And that next year, I was able to do Forecastle. And it was a long, long way from the 10-person crowd at the pizza circuit. And it was a very beautiful moment. It was a very great time. And music took me on like a really crazy journey. I cannot even lie. I was able to do pop-up events and collaborate with a lot of brands. Partnered with Red Bull, did a nice little pop-up shop. I was able to meet a lot of really cool people, hang out with them backstage, pick their brains, garnish a lot of good friends, do stuff with the Louisville Orchestra, the Louisville Ballet. I was able to co-feature on the Oxford American this year, so yeah, make some noise for Oxford American. That's me. If you look close, I don't know why they chose that picture, but that is me in the corner. I know it does not look like me, but that is me in the corner. I just got my own creative space. I took my first crack at interior design, so that was really cool. Me and my homies, we got a creative space, and I can like record whenever I want, work whenever I want, do whatever I need to do. And so for most people, you would think that like my childhood dream of being heard was fulfilled. You know, for a lot of people, you would think that like your childhood dream is fulfilled at that point. And what I had to figure out and I had to realize is we all kind of get to that point in the game where like you're playing it over and over. It's like Monopoly, right? Raise your hand if you ever finished a game of Monopoly. It's like one person. Man, y'all patient. Y'all are some really, shout out to those patient people out there. I've never finished a game of Monopoly, but it's, you know how you get to that point where like all the houses, everybody got houses, everybody has all the land, all the railroads, you name it, it's all been bought up. There's like 50 houses on every piece. And then you're just going around and you're just basically rolling to see who's going to land on whatever and lose everything. And then everybody just like quits and then just goes get a beer or something and just says, forget it. Well, that happened to me. And I was just kind of like, you know what? Maybe, because I had this, like I said, I had this childhood dream of being heard. And that's just all I ever wanted to do was just be heard. And I was like, man, maybe this crowd that I speak to a lot of times, maybe they don't really understand like what's going on. Maybe a lot of times they just want to be entertained, which is great. I understand it. But sometimes a lot of people don't understand like how therapeutic music is and how much we put into our music as artists. Because we're, especially artists who are living the truth and are writing about their life and writing about issues and things like that. So basically what happens is you kind of look at this crowd and you're like, you know, I just had this great song that I wrote about my cousin getting locked up and mass incarceration of African Americans in the US. And then somebody turns, it's like, just play Rocketeer. I just want to dance. And you're just like, you know, I just finished this song, you know, like this was heavy. And you also hear about these type of things, so, you know, like with LeBron, where they would just like shut up and dribble a basketball. So for a while, I was just kind of feeling like, man, like, do people just see me as a rapper? So me being on the stage is like, in general, it's just like a very like important moment for me, for sure. So for a while, I was kind of like, you know, these crowd, these people, they just don't really understand like what I'm going through, how I'm feeling, like. They just want to be entertained, and I was like, maybe I just shouldn't do music anymore. And my perception changed. My perception of that changed when I was going to the farmer's market, like a good citizen, right? A good local citizen, you go to the farmer's market. So I was going to the farmer's market, and I get there, and walking around, and I just hear somebody like, James, are you James? And it's a kid on a bicycle. I'm like, what's going on? This kid, he just pulls up. And he's like, you're James Lindsey, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, I got all your music. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, I got all your music. He like pulls out his phone. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And he has like literally like 3 of my albums. And he's like, yo, you don't understand. He's like, I actually am from Norfolk too. My name is Mark. And I'm like, oh, word. I was like, that's what's up, man. He's like, no, he's like, I don't know if you understand how much impact you had on my life. He's like, your music literally saved my life. He's like, you got me to not be a statistic in growing up in Norfolk. He's like, I play for my friends and they just love like the positive message and the way that you can get out. He was like, you're like my hero. And at that moment, I was like, man, this is crazy. Because it's all based on perception, the way you look at things. So it was crazy because on a lot of ways, I was like I wasn't a rapper to him. I was a teacher. I was a motivational speaker. I was a preacher. Whatever, whatever I was to him, I was something completely different than a rapper. For me to be able to change his life, and it was crazy to me because I always had this recurring dream in my head that I just wanted to be heard. That was just always in my head, like I just want to be heard. I just want to be heard since a child. But I never really thought that at one given moment, that somebody would hear me and want to dream themselves. So I thought that was really important. And with that being said, I want to bring up my band because I want to talk about the game part of it as well. Because in all honesty, I'm nothing without this band out here. I'm just going to bring them out one by one. I'll bring them out one by one. Because I feel like you can't really have the theme game and everything without talking about your team, Like you definitely need your team. So I'm just going to bring them out. I'm going to start with Christian, who drove up here from Nashville on bass. Shout out to Christian. Are you taking a little stroll? Shout out to him taking a little stroll, okay. We got brother Joel on keys. The amazing Joel. We got Chris in the cut on drums. We got Rashad, the new father, on horns. And last but not least, we got the firecracker Renzel on keys. And so I kind of want to talk to y'all about, like I said, the whole game, teamwork aspect. So usually what happens is I'll just come up with a topic. When it's time to write music, I'm just trying to, think of something. So I'll just be like, all right, this topic that I'm trying to do is meeting a girl at a record store. And then we'll just kind of go into the track's made, and just kind of talk more about the vibe about it after. So yeah, let's get into it. All right. Yeah. I met her thumbing through vinyls. I was looking for Future and she was looking for Little Dragon. What happened? We met inside of the aisles. We met her right in the middle. Imagine Dragons, the internet, alphabetical order, artist and title. I asked her what she was doing. She said she needed some music that she could play while she sat and studied for finals. I called her miseducated. She said that album's her favorite. She plays it daily and Lauryn Hill was her idol. Should've known. Started discussing without no rushing. We could've gone. Couple of hours, cover to cover, just putting on song after song. The combo got us up in the zone, but when it wrong, you gotta call him how you see him. Smile at me and that right there was something to believe in. The body language told me she could talk without the speaking. I remember Mona Lisa, Leonardo, nice to meet you. Hey, can y'all clap for me? There we go. We need y'all to be our metronome a little bit. Hey, spotlight. Yeah. I see you shining bright. You got the light I'm looking for. Hey, spotlight. Hey, spotlight. Hey, spotlight. Yeah. I'm reading her like a novel. Discussing fashion, she wanna be Phoebe Follow. We talking Vino, we talking Pinot Moscato. Her favorite food is anything with avocado. Motto dietary, only be Mariah Carey. This a fantasy. Pick me if I'm dreaming. If I'm not, tell me why can't I be? Can it be? Can it be forever? If we spend our time together, we might never leave this record store at all. But this whatever. Got me in my thoughts, but we done made a solid effort. We just met, but I could take it pretty far. She would let us, let up, no, never. Smelling like wisteria, lavender, poinsettia. Funny how music can get people to come together. Every phoenix don't come with feathers. And for the record, I ain't never met her. I ain't never met her. I ain't never met another like CreativeMornings. Y'all make some noise. Hey, 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 I see you looking. Hey, spotlight. Hey, I see you shining. Can y'all put your hands up one time? Can y'all put your hands up like spotlight? Left to right, yeah. There we go. Left to right, left spotlight. There we go. Left to right, left to go. I'm gonna see if I can keep going. We go left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Now back four, now back and forth, now back and forth, 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 back and forth. Now switch. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right. Hey, spotlight. Hey, 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 spotlight. Everybody, spotlight. Y'all like that? There you go. It's kind of fun. I ain't looked at my notes once. I feel kind of good about that. I guess to keep this thing going, and yeah, can we make some noise for my band? They're great. Y'all good? And to keep this thing going, I kind of want to talk to you a little bit how this song was broken down, but I can't do it. I want to talk about my homeboy that I met, like I said, way back in high school days. This is he's done all the graphics, he's mixed and mastered everything, done all the beats. So all I have to do is just come in and rap. So can y'all make some noise for my producer? He's very humble, he's very quiet, he doesn't say anything. Please make some noise for my boy Josh LaRock.
So I'm glad that you guys are all here to share this with us. But just to get a little technical for a split second, I want to talk about just from my perspective and what I do in the process as a producer. When James sent me the lyrics, what my thought process was behind the song Spotlight. The song itself, lyrically, is a really sweet story. James has always been good at putting words together to tell stories, and the story is actually right on cue. A story of him meeting someone who changed his life forever, and to celebrate that, I wanted to do a nice, romantic, positive scene sonically to put behind that. So I started off with the strings, and what I'm going to basically do is just play some clips from the digital workstation that I use. It's called FL Studio, but it's probably better known as Fruity Loops. That's what I started on, that's what I learned with, so I stuck with it. It's one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it things, so.
It's like a free program that like 80% of rap uses, by the way.
It was free back in the day, now you have to pay, you know.
Did you pay for yours?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
Cameras are rolling, my bad, I got you.
We come up a little bit.
Coming up, we came up.
We came up a little bit.
We came up, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the workstation itself. Those are the strings in the background. And I wanted to use strings to start the song. That's James being smooth. But I want... You guys seen the movie La La Land? Like, the strings to me and the story that he's telling in this song, it kind of made me think of La La Land, you know? It's like you know, James is Ryan Gosling. That's an easy connection to make, right?
Black Ryan Gosling, okay.
Yeah, and this girl is like the Emma Stone character, so it's like, you know, and Otis, shout out to Otis who sings on the chorus of the song. He's like his, the John Legend character, like the best friend. So he's like helping him be smooth, you know, trying to impress this girl. So the strings just created the perfect backdrop. But what I did is I took those chords that I programmed on the strings and basically used them on these keys. That's my virtual keyboard that I use. This is a soft electrical piano playing the exact same keys, but those were going to be under here during the verse because I wanted things to be really mellow and smooth during the verse. So once we have that, we pretty much got like a nice melodic, foundation of the song. And from there, we can maybe move into.
I met her thumbing through vinyls. I was looking for Future and she was looking for Little Dragon. What happened? We met inside of the aisles. We met her right in the middle. Imagine Dragons are in alphabetical order. Artist and title.
About meeting this woman and the effect that it's starting to have on him, and he's describing that in detail. But you're able to focus in on that detail because the backdrop, like I said, is very smooth, very I think loud, very loud. But then we got to build. This is a song. We want to be able to get people dancing and moving at some point. So I had this whole like funk kind of theme or vibe in mind, and actually took guitar parts. This next what clip I'm going to play you, what it is, we had a guitar player in another session for another song on this album, and I liked so much of what he did that I said, man, I feel like I can use more of that in other ways. So I actually sliced up his actual playing and repurposed it. So the guitar that you're hearing in the background is actually me like changing the notes from another guitar piece that was written all together, just to add to like the fun dynamic of the song. And by then we've got a groove and we're moving towards the hook, and I just wanted things to get big melodically during the hook, like you guys just experienced on stage with the band. There we go. Yeah.
Teamwork.
All right. So at this point, we're getting into the chorus. The strings come back in. It's the same melody, but the strings come back in. But now it's got a groove to it. It's got a rhythm behind it. So you may be starting to move, starting to tap your feet a little bit. And then things get a lot bigger in the last half of the hook. So the synths come in. And over to the left, you can see like the different slices of the guitar parts that are coming in. And that like voice pitch effect in the background is actually Otis, the guy who sings on the hook. I took one word of him saying light and just like repurposed that sample-wise to where it had a different like pitch, just to create an effect in the background. And since Otis couldn't be here today, I've got him here digitally. If I can play this.
Spotlight.
So I put a delay effect on his
looking, baby, tell me what you're looking for.
On his vocal.
Spotlight.
Again, just playing up that word light, because it's all about her,
See
the
you
light's
shining bright, you got the light I'm looking for. Spotlight.
And like I said, that's me just kind of repurposing the word light to create an effect.
Spotlight.
So again, everything coming together to tell the story, create this backdrop so that when he does this thing, you guys actually feel what it is he's saying as much as you can, like understand it, interpret it, and maybe identify with it, connect with it. I feel like we've all been there. Anybody who's ever been in love or been in any kind of romantic situation, it's a feeling, it's a vibe. So that's what this song is all about. And he's so good at telling so many different stories that as his producer, I just get a chance to weave into so many different worlds. But we just wanted to share a little bit more about this particular one on this song. So thank you.
Joshua Nicholson, ladies and gentlemen.
Two words, top floor, North Fork, top tier. Been great, big plate, shrimp steak, chopped seared. Sauteed, lost days, lost friends, lost peers. Game fans, lost years. Lots here to talk about. Game faith, lost fear. Lost moms, dropped tears. But I never dropped out, just to make my mom proud. Cap gown, walked the aisles. Outside, all smiles. Inside, dark clouds. That's why I brainstorm just to get them thoughts out. Reneging in spades, cause I never pour them hearts out. Even when the card's out. Gotta go all out. Consider this the lost files. A lot of shit I blocked out. Man. Like the mice in the hallway. Dice in the hallway. 28, 32nd, 41st Broadway. Take a left on Greenwood. Right where my aunt stay. Beauty shop, pawn shop, liquor store, always. Shootouts, fistfights, standoffs, car chase, hotel, heartbreak. Heart's where the home is, but what if you homeless? Tell me where your heart stay. Don't mind me, shit, I'm just having a long day. Need another day off, need another shoulder so that I can get this weight off. Straight off the block, where you never see silence like chaos, a yacht. Where they play off for spots like the playoffs, but not no layups, just layoffs a lot. The Rock get you cars copped straight off the lot. You listening to the sound of the most world-renowned. I learned this from them old heads sipping on the crown. This is Souls of Mischief meets System of the Down. Kentucky's king, where the fuck my triple crown? See, they call me Rose because I was lifted from the ground. And that's where I'll return when I'm finished. But for now, from the crib to the coffin, everything between is just a dream you get lost in. Everything between is just a dream you get lost in. Everything between is just a dream.
Thank you. My name is James Lindsey. This is Dream Game. Peace and love.
Props to the band. Shout out to the band.
Shout out to the band. Shout out to Josh. Shout out to my homie Vane. Shout out to all y'all. Thank you all.
So we've got a few more minutes. We've probably got tons of questions in the audience. But just to kick things off, I mean, you lived here in Louisville for such a long time. What inspires you around the city? Like, where are your influences in a lot of your stuff that you're kind of creating from pop-up shops, music, all those things?
I think it's really just comes for one. It starts with like my imagination and my dream of just like I said, it's just stuff's always been in here. That I'm like, I still have like 50 more things that I have like in my head that I'm just trying to get out. So I think that's one thing that it inspires me a lot. I also think just like going around the city, like I make it a note. Me and my girl, we're making a note to like get around the city everywhere. You want to go to the, I never want to be that type of person where I just stay in one area. So I mean, I've been around the city my whole life, so I don't mind going to the West End, and I don't mind going to East End, South End, whatever. Like anywhere is fine with me. But I can pull inspiration from literally this conversation. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. You never really know where inspiration is going to hit or where it's going to come from. What other questions? If you have a question in the audience, just kind of stand up and shout it out. I think one that I would want to ask, if you can reiterate, I'm going to come to you next. The pause was too great. I can't let that happen. The pause was too great. Formerly known as Jalen Rose. Now you're James Lindsey. Give us the 15-second spiel of the transition.
I got sick of the people coming to me asking me about the basketball player reference because I really did not do it with the intent of the basketball player. It was actually a mix of my mother's maiden name, my dad, and my government name, James Lindsey. So that's with the Jalen. My mother's maiden name is Rowe. So Jalen Rowe didn't really sound good, but Jalen Rose sounds better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from.
There it is. Yeah. Rumors put the rest.
Rumors put the rest.
Right here. Biggest obstacles. How'd you overcome?
I'd say like the biggest obstacle was you said what? Oh yeah, being a rapper. Yeah, we are in Louisville, Kentucky. So being a rapper here is it is a little difficult. I agree, Vane. I agree. That was definitely difficult. I think it was I feel like at the time that I started doing rap, I feel like this was like way after like Nappy Roots and all this stuff, and there was just like the void that I was trying to fill. I don't know. I just didn't feel like anybody was really listening for it or really cared about it for the most part. And also, it's just like there was a lot of venues and a lot of places that just like did not want to do rap. Like they just thought that it was like the worst thing ever created. I'm sorry, yeah. Just making it undeniable, like just believing in yourself. Like my boy Vane always says, like bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Like bet on yourself first. And it's just like really just making it undeniable. Like even if like we made the buzz so big to where like you had to book us at these venues, like because for a while, like I said, venues just didn't want to book hip hop. So we're like, okay, that's fine. We'll just we'll go outside, we'll go anywhere and just do a show, and just we'll bring our own crowd, we'll do our own thing, and it's gonna eventually get big enough to where you're gonna have to mess with us. You're welcome. Man, I feel like the music scene is like at an all-time. I feel like music as a whole has changed for sure, because when I started, there wasn't like the streaming era. Like you couldn't just like put a song online and just like let it stream well, or you couldn't really like do like an Instagram blast to like, or Facebook blast to try to invite people to events. Like I felt like Louisville was such like a flyers town. Like we was having to like physically hand out flyers and do that type of stuff. And realistically, I gained a lot of fans from just like doing shows, or just like really small shows. Like people would still come up to me and be like, "Oh man, I remember seeing you at like, I don't know, a random parking lot one day just rapping or something." I'm like, really? Like, but I feel like now what's so crazy is because the landscape has changed so much with like streaming. It's like there's so many different ways to like make a career out of it, get money from it. There's so many more shows. I feel like the landscape now is great. It's in a great place. There's a lot of young talent. Harlow's doing a really great job out there. There's also just like a big, I feel like there's a good camaraderie with a lot of people. There's a ton of, I don't know, there's a bunch of DJs and rappers. Is there any DJs and rappers out here right now? No? A couple, there you go, there's Always right there. My brother Always, who's always been around. Yeah, stand up Always, yeah. It's my brother Always. It's a bunch of, quick stance, okay. But yeah, there's a bunch of people out here that's doing a lot of stuff, and I feel like you could go and check out one of Always gigs, or go and check out a Bourbon and B-Sides, or go and check out, there's so many crazy events and things going on that hip hop is like, it's thriving like rock here, I feel like.
James, maybe speak to the fact that so many of the people in your band, and even yourself, this isn't a full-time gig. And you're doing so much in the community with like Amped, through your own stuff, through a pop-up shop. Like, how are you finding time, like, and where's that drive to manage a full-time job?
That drive
pursue like a creative outlet like this.
Yeah, to add on what you said, like I think I just had to learn how to make stuff more efficient, and that's kind of the same way with Josh. It's just like we talk about this all the time. It's like just me having a space now to go to and record anytime I want has made things a lot faster for me. The fact that Josh has all his mixing equipment makes it a lot faster for him. We also have places to go to now practice regularly with the band. Because, like I said, everybody does have their own things. They have families. They have, a bunch of things going on, and school and work and all these things. And you just always just have to figure out a way to balance time. And I don't know. I feel like I get my work ethic from my mom, because, like I said, she just works tirelessly, and I never get tired. I've never had a cup of coffee. I'll just say that, ever. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 deep right now.
That's hilarious. So speaking of which, since I come here so often, every time I come here, I'm always asking Heine Brothers or somebody like, "Hey, do y'all have anything other than coffee? Because I don't drink coffee. I need some tea. Bring some tea. Somebody bring some tea."
All right, well, it's time to go. Thank you for your time,
Closing the curtains.
everybody else is talking about coffee. All right, one last question. Because I know many of you, the band's going to be around for you to ask more questions. You talked about the rap scene, the music scene. 5, 10 years, 20 years from now, what would you like to see in Louisville in terms of the music scene and the rap scene? Like, when you're sitting on the porch or hanging out and seeing the young crow coming up, like, what would you like for that scene to look like?
I want to say that it's in good hands now, but 20 years from now, I feel like I just want to see just the same camaraderie and unity that we had before. I mean, I want people to go back and just kind of maybe research artists and DJs and people here that were doing a lot of really dope stuff, and and see the unity that we have, and a lot of the camaraderie and the friendships that we've grown, and the subculture and stuff, and just take it even further.
That's awesome. Give a round of applause for James Lindsey.
Thank you.